then everything fell apart, and it was like that was maybe the best thing that happened to me. It allowed me to find myself and say, I do music because I really love it and I'm good at it and it's fun for me, but not because my life depends on it.
Hello and welcome to the Love Launch podcast. This is Joey Chandler. This is where we talk with experts and entertainers and entrepreneurs about what love means to them and how we can have more of it in the world. Today, I'm super excited because we actually get to talk to both, or at least two of them, an entrepreneur and an entertainer. Alaura Lovelight is a musician. She's a businesswoman, a mentor of young women, and she has this amazing song out called Eroticy that it's been out for about a year, I believe.
6 months today.
6 months today, awesome, and has like 1 million downloads. Is that correct?
Not downloads. We've had 1 million views on TikTok, and there's been several thousand downloads and streams and all of that.
Oh well, congratulations! That must feel so good.
It's exciting. It's exciting because I've been doing music a long time, so it's that season of like, oh yay, this is finally kind of sprouting, and all the work that I put in is starting to manifest as a blessing. Yeah.
Oh well, congratulations on that. Well, if you would take a couple minutes just to introduce yourself, let us know a little bit about you, and then the question really is what does love mean to you, and how can we have more of that?
Well, yeah, a little bit about me is that I am a singer-songwriter. I live in New York City, and I do a whole lot of things, but artistry is kind of my top favorite. And I put a song out called Eroticy on September 21st in 2021, and it is doing very well. It's actually playing on I think 30 different radio stations worldwide, and it's playing in 17 different countries right now. So we're thrilled with the the traction it's gotten, and there was a lot of work behind it. There was a great team behind it. I've been writing music a very, very long time. I am classically trained, so I play the piano, and I have since I was 4. And then, I've had a whole musical journey up until this point. I worked in Los Angeles for a while for a film composer. I went to school for music, so I studied really the art of writing music. I have a degree in music composition. And yeah, music has always been my life. It was my calling as a kid, and it's just kind of always been my purpose, I believe. And so here we are. Eroticy came out in September, and I'm thrilled. I'm so happy with the response that it's getting. People really seem to love it. And I'm getting to participate in like a lot of really great, rich conversations and meeting a lot of new people. I've been doing interviews like all around the world, thanks to, virtual. And it's been fun. It's so exciting. It's a fun ride. So it's been a lot of work, and it's a long time coming, but we made it.
Oh, that's awesome. And before we hop into what is love, I'm curious, what is something that you have learned from this journey? That you've the 6 months, and now you're moving forward. You're getting all this progress, and you're having all these amazing conversations. I'm curious if there's anything that like you have learned from that journey that you didn't know. September 1st you didn't know, but now you do.
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have? So many things, but I think the number one thing that I've learned that I think is important to know as an artist is that we live in a world of such instant gratification, and it's really not an overnight thing. Anybody who's an artist, entertainer, in any kind of industry like that, it takes a lot of work, a lot of mistakes, a lot of trial and error. And honestly, one of the best things that I've learned over the past 6 months is just to embrace the small wins. Every single small win adds up to a big win. And it's taken me a long time to understand that about consistency and appreciating, those little things, they're all accumulating. And we forget that, right? It's like we feel like, oh, well, that show wasn't as big as my dream show, or that interview isn't as big as my dream interview, but it's like all of those are leading to wherever you believe you're going. And honestly, it changes as you go. I remember I had booked an interview, like a big interview to me several months ago. And by the time we got to that interview, so many other things had manifested. So it's such a journey, and that sounds a little bit cliche, but you really have to appreciate every single stream, every single, you know, video that somebody makes of your song, every single time that you get to have a conversation on an interview. I'm really loving content these days because I love that content is made and then it kind of takes on a life of its own. And um, the song, the video, the interviews, all of those things every single day are growing a little bit, and they're bringing new opportunities. So I would say, yeah, celebrating the small wins has been a big. You know, we did a radio campaign over the last 6 months, and for the first 30 days, we worked so hard to, especially as an independent artist, right? And with COVID, nobody's at the studio, nobody's at the radio station, and they're like, who the heck are you? So it's all kind of stacked against you. And so for the first 30 days, we were grinding to get some radio play. And me and my assistant Savannah, we were like getting really discouraged, like what the heck, you know, every day, 12 hours a day, calling, emailing, re-following up, like, hey, did you get my email, blah blah blah. And you know, on day 30 we had one radio station playing Eroticy, but on day 40 we had, I think, 12 radio stations. So it's like the compound effect is another thing that I've really been learning about. Is one doesn't go one, then two, then three. It goes one, then 12, then 30, then 60, you know, then 100. So that little compound effect has definitely been something that also I have learned to let those small wins kind of add up and that they're going to compound. So, yeah. So many other, I mean, there's been such a journey in the last 6 months. I said to Savannah today, I was like, it feels partly like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 6 months. And it feels like a really long time, a really short time, you know?
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think there's some real parallels between music, like creating music and creating a relationship that really works.
Of course. Absolutely.
It's one reason why I love romance comedies that have a musical twist. Like I just watched, I think I mentioned this on another podcast, but I watched Stars Born, you know, with Lady Gaga and Bradley, and any love romance that has kind of a musical, because I just love the creative process where somebody discovers their voice. And to me, that's so powerful in music. And I think that's so important in our own personal journey, and especially in love, to figure out who you are and then to figure out your expression of that.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I mean, music, it is a relationship. I mean, people who are musicians, especially like if they really love the craft and they love the art, like it really truly is a relationship. I would absolutely 100% say that I my most intimate relationship in life is music. Definitely. 100%.
Who would be some musicians that you look at them and go like, yeah, that person, they love their craft. They have that deep relationship.
You know, I was just talking to somebody the other day about Amy Winehouse, and there's a documentary about her life, and all the people who knew her in her documentary talked about how like her relationship with music was like a relationship with a person. It was really intense. It was like that her whole being just was music. And I remember watching the documentary and being like, wow, that's how I feel about music. Like it's inside you, and it feels like you know, when you meet somebody and it's like, oh, I feel like we know each other so well, but you never, you know, you've newly met. That's how music feels. It feels like this is another piece of me, you know? So it's an extension of me. That's how it feels. Amy Winehouse is definitely one. I think Lady Gaga is one who is like full on music, everything. It's in her being to be who she is. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the Amy Winehouse actually brings up an interesting idea too, is because you can also lose yourself in a relationship, and it can get unhealthy. And unfortunately, obviously her life ended far sooner than it should have. But that also brings, like, how can you create that relationship with another person or with music or really any craft where you can be your full self and keep yourself healthy?
Well, I think that the same way you can lose yourself to music, you can lose yourself in a relationship. And I think that the like when you're a creative person on that level, even like artists like painters or like Van Gogh or these people who are so invested in their art, they have kind of a toxic relationship with their art because it becomes their identity. And that's something that I dealt with over the last few years is once somebody said to me, and it was kind of in a derogatory tone, but it was an important thing for me to figure out. They were like, "What do you even like besides music?" And I was kind of like, "I don't know the answer to that." And it was a really big moment for me because I was going through this roller coaster in the industry of feeling like if you ever know anything about the industry via through a movie or it's your own career or whatever, you know that nothing goes to plan. Like everything you have a plan, you have an idea, everything takes longer, costs more money, goes a different direction, falls through sometimes. Sometimes you'll work on a song, you don't get credit, it doesn't end up on an album. So many factors that can change from minute to minute. And so if that's your identity, which for me it was, for people like Amy Winehouse, it becomes this dangerous territory where you're like, when the music falls through, I fall through. And that was a point in my life where I said, this is literally going to make me or break me. And if I can't find myself and my own identity aside from this huge piece of myself, I will lose myself. And I did for a little bit, to be honest with you. And I think that is extremely parallel to relationships, is that if you are in a relationship with a family member, with a partner, with a coworker or a boss, with anybody, and you can't separate that, you will have a very, very hard time knowing yourself and being true to yourself and loving yourself and all of those things that, is important to talk about. And that's the separation.
Absolutely. I'm curious what you did to find yourself in that, or to keep yourself present while your music went forward.
Yeah, I think that question made me ask myself, what do I love besides music? And all of the things that I did love, I had put aside for music. And I was only finding happiness in music. Just like you can't find only happiness in your partner, right? It's like that's very dangerous. You have to have friends, you have to have family, you have to have a hobby, something you do without them. Like all of those things, same for music. And so I had to sit down with talk with myself, be like, what do you love besides music? And it really made me go inward and figure out I love to be outside. I love to be in nature. I love to take a walk like in nature. I love to be by the water. Born like a beach baby girl, and I love the water. I love to be near the water. I love to cook. I love to cook because I can't be responding to an email or working on this or doing that. All I can do is be cooking. And so I'm like,
And it's creative, right?
yeah, create, and it's still creative, totally.
What's your favorite dish?
Ooh, you know what? I've been making chicken marsala lately, which I didn't like before, but I make it with this cream sauce and it's really, really good. I love it.
Maybe if you have a recipe, maybe you'll send it and I'll put it on the show notes.
I will. I will send it your way. It's delicious. And like I love that because I found, and you made a perfect point, is like I think that over the last year I've learned that I love to be creative. And music is something I'm really, my talent, my God-given gift that is a blessing, and I pursue it and use it. But over the last year, my company has really developed, my courses have really developed. I've been working on a lot of artistic projects, and I've really realized, same with cooking, all of the things I really love are creative. And I just love to be creative. So I started to find other things besides music where I was like, oh, actually, the real root of what I love is creativity, is making something out of nothing. Another thing, which sounds funny and silly, but it's really, really true, is I love woodworking. I like think it's fascinating. I love to like build things. I like to build furniture. That's so funny and like random, but it's another creative thing I just really enjoy.
Was there a correspondence or a connection between you kind of rediscovering this love of creativity and reconnecting with that and the success that you're seeing now?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. I think that I'm very big on like energy and understanding how things move. And I think I had major resistance towards the success of my music because I was so clenched fisted on it. And it was so important for me to happen and happen a certain way and do this and that. And then everything fell apart, and it was like that was maybe the best thing that happened to me, it allowed me to find myself and say, I do music because I really love it and I'm good at it and it's fun for me, but not because my life depends on it, my success and all of those things depends on all of the that's a lot of pressure, and I put that on myself. But yeah, of course, there's no coincidence between the fact that I went through that and then eroticy happened very shortly after that, and it's been the most successful thing that I have done. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so similar to I'm going through a separation and a divorce right now, and I held on to the relationship for so long that it was so tight, and that I didn't take care of myself. I didn't do the things that I need to do. I was afraid to let go of the relationship to take care of me, and then of course it ended in my wife and I were working through very positively, I think in a positive way, but that holding on, that definitely resonated with me. Holding on too tight, and rather than doing the stuff that you know to do to take care of yourself, and whether that be hanging out with friends or doing something creative or really finding your own, I like to say, your own voice in life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of like sand, right? It's like the more we clench to it, the more it kind of we lose control of it. And it's like, the universe and energy is a lot like water and it's moving. We have to move with it.
And sometimes those waves knock you down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they do. And like I said, I grew up on the beach, right? So like a lot of, analogy in terms of that is when you're swimming like that in the ocean, they tell you if the wave grabs you, you're supposed to just let it take you, which can be very scary because you're like, what the heck? What do you mean? Like it's gonna, tumble me into oblivion. But the releasing that resistance lets you find your footing in the wave and you come back. Same thing with driving, right? If you lose like control on the ice, they say you're supposed to just like let it kind of rock and it will find its footing. That's how life is.
And I want to hear about your business, but just for our listeners, what is your definition of love, or what does love mean to you?
Oh my gosh, that's a heavy question. I feel like I need to have like a really, really pristine answer because my name is Alaura Lovelight. But you know, love Lovelight, is part of my name, and that came about because somebody once had said to me, "You have this love light that people are drawn to." And this light about you, and this it's like this energy and this love that other people are drawn to. And I thought, wow, I love to be associated with that. I want to represent, like the truest version of myself. And I think that the purest version of love is, you know, for anybody who is not spiritual, or I'm not specific on names or titles or whatever, God, universe, energy, to me all kind of means the same thing. But this energy that we come from that makes the flowers bloom and the trees grow and babies be born and all of those beautiful, like magnificent miraculous things that happen on this earth that nobody can make happen. I think that's what love is. I think it's this truest, most purest version of the energy that we are all connected to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And what I hear you saying over and over again, and for you, it's like the source of creativity. It goes back and forth, right? The being creative helps you experience love more, and loving helps you be more creative.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's a perfect way to say it, and that's definitely true. I think that you create better when you're in that alignment with the pure source of love that is this universe, that this is created, this world. um that's where all the most brilliant creative people find, any person that you can identify as like, oh my gosh, they are this artist or this singer or this actor or this painter or this, they all, the art that you love from them came from that place of being tapped into that source of love.
Absolutely. And you're also a businesswoman, and you run a program for young women, if I understand this correctly.
I run a program called Unseen to Queen, which I established last year, and it's for teen girls from like 12 to 17, 18. And I started it because a few young women had, well, I'll always be at a show and like girls will want to, come talk to me and be excited and want to take pictures. And so I had decided that I was running into all these young girls who reminded me so much of myself. They're kind of shy, kind of quiet, not really confident, all the things that I was at the age of like 13, 14, 15, that time of life, of a young girl's life. And every time I would meet them and see them, I would see this version of them and that version of them, because we've all been in so many different versions of ourselves, right? It's like we all age, we all get older, sometimes we gain weight, sometimes we lose weight, but the essence of us is that real, true, pure love that we're talking about. And so I could see that superstar version of them, and I could see that shell of them with their shy and their, and as I would work with them, they would come out of the shell and be these transformed butterflies. And I just loved it. It was so full. I mean, I still love it. I do it every day, every week. And it's just the way they transform is, there's nothing like it. I really can't describe it. To be a witness to them finding themselves is indescribable. And to be a part of that is amazing.
Yeah, I just got chills. I had someone ask me, "What do you love about coaching people?" And I thought about it, and it's that moment when someone gets that spark, and it's not even that they've succeeded, they've achieved the goal, but it's that moment when they realize something's possible and they take a step. I love that moment. That's what I heard you saying.
Yeah, it's everything, and I have a few courses, but they're all based around that. They're all based around the fact that it's funny because like now I'm like this version of Alora, but it took me very many years to become this version. And I did a lot of self work. I did a lot of finding myself over and over and over. My sister in law just said to me the other day, she was like, you always see something and you just go for it. And like being afraid of it or it being hard or being uncomfortable or being embarrassed, it doesn't stop you from doing it. And I believe that that's where greatness comes from. And I want to be an example of that. And I want to teach people how to do it. And I think the best way for me to teach other people how to do it is to do it myself. So there's like a lot of activities I'll be like, ooh, that's something I would like. It would make my artistry better, but I'm not good at it. And I'm like, oh, now I got to learn how to do that. But it's good. It's like, it's good for me to feel that feeling of newness and not sure and feeling insecure about like, oh, I'm not so sure. And people, will be like, she's a singer. So then there's this added pressure of like, but I'm not good at dancing or, whatever it is. I'm not good at painting or whatever. But I think that's so important. And that's why I started the course. Um, and I love it. The girls love it. They work together. It's a 6-week course. It's online. I do some online and some in person here in New York. And it's great. The girls support each other. They grow. They, break out of the shell. They find pieces of themselves I think they didn't know existed. And, it took me 10 years longer than it should have because something I talk about a lot in an interview is that I think that having a female mentor, especially if you want to be in the music industry and you are a young female, is essential. It should be a requirement to be in the music industry. I did not have a female mentor coming into, and it it was kind of like a free for all, it was like I had to kind of figure out what the heck, who's honest, who's lying, who's, like who's trying to take advantage, who's trying to really help me. All of those things were very difficult for me. And I didn't have a female in my life to say, this might happen. You might be approached with this. You're going to have to say no if this comes up. All of those different things that I wish that I had learned from somebody and not having to go through it. But I think that, again, God, the universe, was designed for me to have to go through those things so that I could be having an impact on other young women to say, hey, let's be prepared for this so you don't have to go through that.
Yeah, sometimes going through that and not having it go the way it, quote, should go is actually the lesson that you need so that you can pass it on to somebody else.
It's true. Yeah, I totally agree.
But with that being said, is there somebody, because I'm sure there's some next steps for you. Your career is clearly not done and you're going places. Is there a mentor that you're looking for now?
Yeah, I always love to have I try to have a mentor in every field, right? So like a business mentor, I have a business mentor, like I have a health mentor, fitness and nutrition, I find a mentor there. I think you should have a mentor in every area of your life that you want to excel. Once I was listening to an interview and Oprah was talking about how she had two mentors and Maya Angelou, who's her mentor, had like four or five. And she was like, "Oh, I got to get more." And so it's important to have somebody who knows what they're talking about, who's been there, who has the lessons, who has the information, um, mentor you. And for myself, right now, I constantly use content from other women that I admire and that I aspire to be in a similar position, and I study the heck out of it. I like a football player watching, plays back to back to back. I do the same thing. I'll watch Beyonce perform. I will watch documentaries all day long about other artists. Lady Gaga, I study her performances. Nicki Minaj, I adore, and I think that she is such a powerful woman. The way that she stands up for herself, the way that she makes a lane for herself. All of those women, I would say, are mentors for me, even though we haven't worked together yet. Alicia Keys, I still feel like I I study, the internet is amazing that you can kind of connect with these people without knowing them personally. And I study a lot of what they do, a lot of what they say, a lot of the way they walk and talk and act and stand and interact. And I really take that, put it in my memory bank to say, this is what a great artist looks like, or talks like, or stands like, or shakes somebody's hand like, all of those things I really put in my brain for, to make the best artist I can be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I'm sure Beyonce is going to be listening to this. So Beyonce, give Laura a call, because she wants you to be your mentee.
Yes. Yes. If she does, well, I'm into it.
I was thinking about who would I love to come on to talk about like, what does love mean? Like, what does love mean to you? And like Dr. Dre came up. I was like, wouldn't that be cool? And
Yeah.
I'd love like Lady Gaga, I would love to have on
Yeah.
to talk about it. Like Anne Hathaway would be another one for me.
Yeah.
Or Matthew McConaughey because he plays
Yes.
all the the rom-com movies. Like, what does he know about love?
He has a lot of good content out there about being your best self.
Yeah, this book is amazing. Yeah, awesome. Well, this is so good. We can continue to wrap this up. And one of the things I like to ask people is, what sort of movies or books or songs or something that you're listening to that kind of brings up love for you that you might want to share, that maybe be a little silly or fun, that you want to put out there for people to consider.
Oh, Well, a few things. For like on the serious side, I'm reading a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and it's by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's about rewiring your brain and learning about kind of neuroscience, which can be very like intimidating about like, oh, what the heck, the quantum and all of those things. But the essence of the book is really about becoming your best self. And to me, there's nothing deeper, like, there's no deeper love than knowing yourself truly. And so I'm really enjoying that book. I'm actually reading it for the second time because it's a lot of information. And so I was like, oh, I think I need, to do that again and go back, circle back. But I'm learning a lot about myself, and I'm learning a lot about how to present myself the best and be focused on what I want and what I believe is possible for my life and the impact that I want to have and the music I want to make and all of these different things. So that is a book I would highly recommend. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And then in terms of love, I will also say that I have recently been taking some private dance lessons for my upcoming music video. And I am a singer through and through. I am a performer through and through. I am a musician through and through. I am not I won't say that. I don't, because I like to speak things into existence. Up until this point in life, I have not been a dancer. So that's something that I'm working on and that I'm learning and I'm loving. And it is a different level of confidence and self love that you are required to embrace everything about your body, your movements, your stance, and I feel like I'm a pretty confident person, but when I take that dance class, I'm like, oh man, this is tapping into a new level. So that's something I'm loving. I'm loving learning, and I'm loving like the different level of confidence. It's kind of like when you do a new exercise and you're like, what muscle is that? It's like a new love muscle, I feel like.
Oh, that would be such a great. We'll have to have you back on and do another conversation around the self-love that comes from movement, whether it be physical, dance, height, whatever you're doing, but that love and the love that it requires and that it brings up.
Yes.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
then the last question I ask people is I always love to have conversations, help people think, because I want the audience to be thinking. And I'm curious, out of our conversation, is there anything that you're taking away that you're like, hey, I kind of, that got me thinking newly?
I hadn't really thought about how directly connected my self kind of reflection about what else do I love. That was really great for me. I'm glad that you brought that up, and I truly 100% believe that that's connected. But I don't know that I've given as much light to that as I am realizing through our conversation, is that there was a major directly affected the manifestations of how amazing the floodgates have opened. And I've been doing music for 8 years professionally, and I think eroticy has done collectively has done everything that my music has done before that, collect over 7+ years. So I love that you mentioned that. And I think other people may hear this interview and maybe have the same reflection of like, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about this thing is happening in my life and it's connected to that thing. So that's really cool.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm gonna take away the thought about like mentors and the power of having somebody to talk to and help guide you through whatever you're doing. I think that's a really powerful thing. That definitely got me thinking about that. So I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so lastly,
Yeah.
please let people know how they can
Yeah.
get in touch with you, your music, your courses, everything. Where can they find out more?
Yeah. They can find me well, two places. On social media, everything is at Alaura Lovelight. So they can come find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm trying to be on all the social media platforms. And I really truly like connect with as many people as possible. I do my very best to respond to as many comments as possible, as many messages that I get. I think that sometimes you get to a certain level where people feel like, oh, she doesn't care about like that she had an effect on me. And that's not true. And for sure for myself, but I think for most artists is that it's still the purpose is still to have somebody feel like, yeah, that song helped me or changed me or made me feel better. And so I love every single message that comes through. So I read them all. So they can find me at Alaura Lovelight, and then on online my website is lovelightsoundmusic.com, and there's courses there. There's a course for musicians who want to learn more about making an income with their music. There's a course for creative people that talks about, being the willingness to put yourself out there and breaking down limiting beliefs and learning more about self-love. And then of course my Unseen to Queen course for the girls. All of those are on lovelightsoundmusic.com, as well as like the books that I talk about. I try to take a really holistic approach to my artistry and say, these are all the things that make me a great artist. It's all of the meditations I do, the books that I read, the people I admire. All of that is what creates me to become this artist that I am. And I like to share that. So that's all at lovelightsound.com. I said lovelightsoundmusic.com.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And just huge props for you for just acknowledging that somebody, it's so easy to be think like, oh, it's all about me trying to do it. And I definitely fallen into that category, but you're clearly embracing the community. And that's actually something that I thought about and I forgot to mention is the importance of community in love. Like we think that love is a solo thing, but it's really a team sport. Like to be able to like your music, I'm sure is a team sport in all sorts of ways that none of us can really imagine. And I think love is the same way, that we have to have more of us that are talking about and experiencing and sharing what the good ups and the downs of love, then we can actually make it happen for ourselves.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can see each other in a more pure form than we see ourselves, right? Sometimes it takes like an outside person to be like, don't be so hard on yourself, or you're good, you're doing a good job, or things like that are really important. And I agree with you. Community is everything. Sometimes it takes another person to, be that extra source of love that you might need at the moment.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. This was a wonderful interview. And yeah, everyone, please go check out our website. The music's great. And not just the music, but just everything you're doing. So really, really thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I loved this conversation, truly.
Thank you. And for everyone, please take a moment to think about, what does love mean to you and how can you have more of it in your life with music and helping young girls, and just exploring your creativity as part of it. Definitely check out Laura's work. When two people can fall in love, it is a triumph of the human spirit, and that's what we're trying to do here. So I will talk to you next time on the Love Launch podcast. Bye.